Welcome to the first episode of At the Table with Karen. I'm Karen, and I am super excited to share with you my Carmel Corn recipe for today. This recipe is something that I've been making for probably about 37, 38 years. It was given to me by one of my bosses long time ago, and I just really love this recipe for a lot of reasons. First, it's super simple, it's delicious, and it's something that you probably have a lot of the ingredients on hand, so it's great to make just in a split moment. So the Carmel Corn recipe takes just a few simple ingredients that you probably already have in your cupboard. First of all, it needs about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of unpopped popcorn kernels. And you can use white or yellow popcorn kernels, doesn't really matter. And then you need 2 sticks of butter and 2 cups of light brown sugar, 1/2 cup of Carmel white syrup, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a pinch of cream of tartar and a pinch of salt, and that's it. So the first step in making caramel corn is getting the syrup cooking. And it's something that you do on top of the stove. And so we just put in the 2 sticks of butter and the 2 cups of light brown sugar and the 1/2 cup of white Carmel syrup. You kind of mix this all together, and then you want to put it on the stove on medium high, and you want to boil it for 5 minutes. So in our syrup, again, we have 2 sticks of butter, 1/2 cup of white Carmel syrup, and 2 cups of light brown sugar, and just a dash of salt. We want to put that over here onto the stove, and we want to put it on about a medium to medium high. It's going to boil for 5 minutes, so we want to make sure we have a big enough saucepan so that it doesn't boil over, has plenty of room. And so we kind of want to keep our eye on that. Once the butter starts to melt, you can stir it up and then kind of blend all that together. Delicious. Juicy. Yeah, we're just going to put that here. This is the salt, or the baking soda and the cream of tartar. And so it doesn't take it too long to start boiling, and once the butter is beginning to melt, you just kind of want to stir it up. You don't want to stir it too much, but you just want to make sure that all the ingredients are blended well together. Alrighty. So it's beginning to boil here. You can kind of see, you just want to break up the pieces of butter here so that it's fully mixed in. And once it starts to boil, you kind of want to take a note of the time, because really just about 4 to 5 minutes is all that it takes to do that. So now we have a pretty good boil going on right now. I'm going to turn my stove down to like a medium to medium high, just so it doesn't scorch, and it can definitely do that. So you want to keep an eye on it just so that it doesn't scorch. You don't really need to stir it too much more, maybe 1 or 2 more times in the process here. All right, I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes, and we're on to the next step. The next step is the fun part of popping the popcorn. With your hot air popper, it is pretty simple to do. So you just want to pour in your unpopped popcorn to the fill level there. Put the top on. One thing you always want to do is get a bowl right in front of it, because once it starts to pop, it won't wait on you. It will just pop everywhere. So that always happens. So you can just gobble up those loose pieces or have the dog come and get them. But having popcorn around is always fun. Okay, when it's just about done popping, you can go ahead and unplug that, turn that off. A few pieces always seem to pop out. And with that first batch, you just want to go ahead and pour it in your clean brown paper sack. Okay, so, okay, our syrup is ready to go. Now we're going to put in the 2 final ingredients, which again is a pinch of cream of tartar and a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Go ahead and put that in, and you'll notice that the baking soda and the cream of tartar make it kind of foamy, which is totally what it's supposed to do. It's kind of setting it, and just stir that in really, really good. You can't over stir that. So you want to go ahead and turn your heat off as well. You can just leave it on the burner, or you can move it to a different burner. But once it's nice and foamy and frothy, it means it's ready to pour over the popcorn. Once your baking soda and your cream and tartar are all stirred in and it's kind of foamy, it's ready to pour on the popcorn. So we want to bring it over here to our prepared popcorn in our brown sack and start to pour in. I usually do just a little bit of it at a time so that I can stir it in. So just about half or so. Just pour it right in, pour it right on the popcorn. Try not to get it on the sides of the sack because it will soak that up pretty good. You want to get a long-handled spoon and just stir it up. You want to stir it to where you can get almost every kernel completely covered, because that's what makes caramel corn so delicious. That ooey gooey caramel is awesome. So once you have that pretty well stirred up, go ahead and add the final amount in. Oops. Okay, and stir that up. And once the final step is putting it in the microwave to cook, and once you do that, it will completely cover all the pieces of corn that haven't been touched by the syrup. So once everything is stirred up pretty well, you just want to go ahead and fold down the top of your sack. It doesn't have to be pretty. You just fold it down, make a little bundle like this. All right, let's go on over to the microwave and put it in there. Your microwave may be smaller or larger, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that it sits down in there. Kind of want to get it to where the sack isn't going to open up in front of inside your microwave. Go ahead, shut that, and then put it in for 2 minutes. After a minute and a half, you want to take it out and shake it again. Put it back in the microwave for 1 more minute. Oops, we got to make sure it's in there good. All righty, we're going to close her up. And then 1 more minute. And we're almost done. Treat's almost ready. One of the best things I love about this caramel corn recipe is that there is so little cleanup. So once your caramel corn is all done in the microwave, you just want to put it onto a surface and you want to open up the sack. It's really just as simple as that. So you just want to open it up, tear it up. Careful, it is a little hot. Oops. And it's going to show this dreamy caramel corn already. So it's pretty hot. You want to open up the sack just as much as you can, and then you want to take your spoon and kind of take it a little bit off the sack. Just move it out here in the open because we want it to cool. Ooh, this is nice and golden. Lots and lots of caramel on this batch here. So you just kind of want to use this paper sack as your plate to put it on here, just to spread it out. Some people like it when it's even a little bit more done than others, but definitely lots of caramel. And if you don't like your caramel corn super caramely, then just pop more popcorn and use the same recipe and just make it go over more popcorn. So, and if you like less, which this is actually really, really caramely, then have at it. You can also add peanuts to it. I probably wouldn't do M&Ms until like maybe this part because they would probably melt during the process. But even peanuts or pretzels, anything else that you might want to add to it as well. So basically, you just let it air cool like that for just a few minutes. And you should probably always take just a little bite to see if it's good. It's awesome. So if I'm going to serve it right away, I just go ahead and put it into a bowl. And if you want, you can just scoop it up in your hands and just put it in the bowl. It's still nice and warm. Oh, Tom is going to love this. And it makes quite a bit. Actually, this batch was just a little bit smaller, but it makes 2 really good sized bowls this size. So if you're wanting to do it for gifts for people, you can put it in a little tin or a little baggie or something. It's just been a favorite of our whole family for such a long time. And it is just really easy to make, and it goes a long way. And it's not expensive either. And again, you have probably most of the things in your pantry at home. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of At the Table with Karen. If you'd like a copy of this recipe, just email us at sales, S-A-L-E-S, @rgdecor.com.